This game has to go down as one of the best tactical displays by a manager at FC Barcelona, probably since the Guardiola era. But you wouldn't know about it because nobody actually talks about this and how Xavi and Kike Setien actually went at each other. Barcelona won the game actually and went 11 points ahead of Real Madrid, who actually has a game in hand. Let's get right into it tactics and see what actually happened. Of course, Barcelona looked to find the centre-backs in the build-up phase, and Kike Setien's Villarreal is full of confidence, so they pressed extremely high to get into good positions. But Barcelona got into their shape very quickly, and Kike Setien had them defending in a 4-2-2-2 formation, where the one would actually go out to press the centre-back and the other one would press the opposite centre-back, and they would actually try to trap Barcelona on one side where the pivots couldn't join because they were well kept in the positions and Villarreal was almost man-to-man in this situation. Right here you can see that they actually had a double pivot, two attacking midfielders around in front of them and their front strikers to actually put pressure on Barcelona. And they would actually look to press on the wide centre back, the other one more focused on the other centre back, and that is what we just talked about a minute ago. This was very effective as the double pivot of Barcelona was actually present as well, so Barcelona was really tight. Kike Setien was totally focused on shutting down the middle and making it overcrowded. Therefore Barcelona had to find a way to get the ball into the fullbacks on the side of the pitch. Villarreal adjusted magnificently as the front two actually pressed from an angle from out to in order to keep Barcelona on playing to one side of the pitch. And this was actually strategically done because it would cut out the passing lane to Jules Koundé, meaning Ronald Araujo would have to pass to the other side because his passing lane to his partner Christensen was cut out. And when the ball was switched, that fullback or whoever was on that side would actually go all the way in order to put pressure on Alejandro Balde or Gavi in most of the occasions that Barcelona actually switched the ball. Over here you can see Jules Koundé in a perfect position to actually receive the ball and cause some damage. But the way that the striker is pressing Ronald Araujo right in this position right over here, you can see it's clearly obvious that he wouldn't be able to pass to Jules Koundé unless he takes a big risk. So he has to switch the ball now on the other side to actually be able to release Barcelona of the pressure that is building up. But over here you can see another striker in between the passing lane between Ronald Araujo and Christensen, meaning that option is not there either. So now Barcelona had to find alternatives to get the ball to Jules Koundé. Xavi was adamant on trying to find the fullbacks. That is why he had Franck Kessié moving up in the left half space in order to draw away one of the attacking midfielders. Therefore he had Frenkie de Jong in the sole pivot role, meaning he squashed his double pivot, and that actually drew another attacking midfielder away. This now opened wide spaces for Barcelona's fullbacks to be able to carry the ball. And Barcelona with Ter Stegen formed a back four in order to totally outnumber them and not being able for Villarreal to press them from an angle because they specifically looked for Jules Koundé. Over here we see that Franck Kessié's positioning is now over in the left half space and not as a pivot, while Frenkie de Jong was also being pinned down by the second attacking midfielder. But over here you can see the acres of space that Jules Koundé is finding him in now in order to be able to exploit this now. And you can also see that Barcelona's back four with Kessié being up left, Christensen, Ter Stegen, Araujo and Jules Koundé. Now the ball is actually being played out from Ter Stegen to Jules Koundé. Kike Setien soon realized that this was going to mess him up having Kessié there and actually man mark him too, because the ball never really came to Kessié, and therefore he reverted back to his normal 4-2-2-2, which means that Barcelona was now back to square one and where they actually have been, and now they could do the same like press them. This time they pressed differently because they wanted Barcelona to only operate on one side. They still left the wingers open, or the fullbacks in this case, because they could still cover them if the ball actually went to them and trap Barcelona in this way. A masterclass indeed. This is what Kike Setien did. He pressed even higher after that, and now Barcelona was under immense pressure as it sifted the momentum into his men's favor. Like over here in this picture you can see Kessié alone in the desert right here, nobody picking him up. Because a pass from Ter Stegen right now would actually be really difficult to pull off and very risky as well, as Barcelona would suffer from high pressure. And over here you have the attacking midfielder totally open to actually go and press whenever Ter Stegen would decide to put that ball over to Jules Koundé's side, which makes Barcelona in a lot of trouble. However, you did have players like Frenkie de Jong and Pedri being man-marked, so to speak, in order to put pressure on Barcelona. So Xavi started to bank on Ter Stegen's technical ability, bringing him out as a third centre-back. This allowed the midfield to go a lot more higher than usual. The attacking midfielders of Villarreal couldn't press as they were scared to actually allow the fullbacks to come into play. This gave Barcelona a numerical advantage as the back three. And now the ball could go a lot more easier to the fullbacks and Barcelona's build-up was now solid. They did the same with Kessie and Frenkie de Jong as they go up higher, trying to pull the ball away. And now Barcelona could circulate the ball as they almost had two diamonds at the back, trying to circulate the ball, making it easier for them to rotate and actually pull players out of position by dribbling forward, drawing them into a press and then release the ball into the midfield. And this is how Barcelona got a stranglehold on this game. You can see here Ter Stegen actually having a back three with Jules Koundé and Ronald Araujo. And here you have the fullbacks being in perfect position to receive the ball now, as the distances were also closed. This actually allowed Barcelona to have numerical advantage at the back three there, and there was no pressure, and you can actually see how Villarreal was retreating. The numerical advantage for Barcelona actually went a long way, as they were now comfortable in the build-up phase. But Kessie and Pedri went up close to Robert Lewandowski, Pedri in particular, in order to be influencing the game. This is how they bypassed it. When the ball went to Koundé, the attacking midfielder came out to press. This is where Rafinha was initially in tune and tucked into the half space in order to come to the ball and receive it, whereas the fullback were pulled out of position. Rafinha would leave it in the half space over here for Jules Koundé, whereas Pedri would now attack the ball on the other side. This is where we saw that Robert Lewandowski took these positions as well. He was mainly operate on the right hand side. Jules Koundé now received the ball from Ronald Araujo as he was now much more comfortable in possession. And the front two would actually press Ronald Araujo and Christensen in this position. Whereas one of the double pivots is now actually pressing Frenkie de Jong, meaning that he's now one-on-one with this player. But the press is now too late just because of the altering of the tactics. This leaves space in between the lines for Barcelona to be able to exploit and actually get Rafinha into this position where he would lay the ball off to Jules Koundé, who would then come around in this space right here in order to give the ball over to Rafinha or receive it from Rafinha, whereas Frenkie de Jong or Pedri or whoever is in the midfield to actually get the ball right there. I think that Quique Setien's team is worthy of a mention in this video, as he had so much simple tactics in order to cause Barcelona trouble. Barcelona was being shut down totally in midfield, as Barcelona couldn't operate like they normally do. Along with the high pressure and the high line made it sure for Barcelona to struggle a little bit. And they had to go long on multiple occasions because that's how much pressure they were under. And the playing around of the tactics is actually to get the ball back and win it as high up the pitch as possible in order to go and score, because they knew themselves that Barcelona has a very good defense. This video doesn't even come close to justify or do justice to the game that Barcelona had against Villarreal. It was a magnificent tactical battle, and I have watched it 2 times over already. But that will be all from my side today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please do subscribe to the channel, as it would help us a lot. I need you guys' help to make this video go a little bit around so that the people can subscribe. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.